Well, I want to start this off the way Marion Barry would start it off. So, good afternoon. I'm Don Peebles, and I stand here before you today because of Marion Barry. I want to first, before I go on, to thank one of the most special people that I've ever had the pleasure to meet, someone who has done his legacy when he was alive, justice, and as he's now transitioning, and that is the former First Lady of our city, the very special Cora Masters Barry. I first met Marion Barry in 1974 at a meet and greet for his first campaign for the City Council. I was 14 years old, being raised by a single mother. And I remember that moment as though it was yesterday. A strong black man determined to knock down the barriers impeding African Americans' access to the American dream. I was in awe, I was proud, but most of all, I felt this great sense of gratitude. For I knew that my future was bright in Washington, D.C., because Marion Barry was here to fight for it. 4 years later, he was elected mayor, and I was in my freshman year at Rutgers University. And I knew then that there would be great opportunity in my hometown. So I quit college after my first year and came back to Washington, D.C. to start my career. 4 years later, Mayor Barry appointed me to the Property Tax Appeal Board. The next year, he made me chairman. I was 24 years old. That gave me a ticket into the world of commercial real estate. 2 years later, his administration agreed to lease an office building that I proposed to build in Anacostia at 2100 Martin Luther King Avenue. I was 26 years old. That building became the foundation of my company, which today is now a $4 billion business. Marion Barry taught me to dream big. Marion Barry gave me the opportunity to make those dreams come true. And most of all, Marion Barry believed in me. Now, my story, though, important to note, my story is not unique. Marion Barry made Washington, D.C. the mecca of African American entrepreneurship. Marion Barry created the black middle class in Washington, D.C. And any one of us in this city, in Washington, D.C., that's African American, that has any wealth, owes that to Marion Barry as well. Now, my company does business around the country, including places like New York City, Miami, and San Francisco. But when it comes to economic empowerment for African Americans, they are generations behind the Washington, D.C. that Marion Barry built. A few months ago, I was in a meeting in New York City with the president of the New York State NAACP, and I was expressing my frustration about how far behind New York City was when compared to Washington, D.C. for minority businesses. The president of the NAACP said, "That's because you all had Marion Barry." And you know what? As we all know, she was right. Because when Marion Barry walked in the door of City Hall in 1979, minority businesses got 3% of the contracts from this city. When he started his third term as mayor, minority businesses were getting nearly 50%. Now, those are numbers, but let me tell you the power of that number. The city I do business in, where I'm building $1 billion of real estate, is New York City. Today, their minority contracting percentage is 3%. So they are a generation behind all of us here in D.C. And Marion Barry transformed black businesses, and he made D.C. the envy of all. If it was not for Marion Barry, I would not be the nation's largest African American developer. God bless our city and our country with Marion Barry. And I will close with a familiar saying that I'm sure you all have heard Marion Barry say. Marion Barry is not perfect, but he was perfect for Washington. God bless Marion Barry.